How do y'all, things that are important as a family in this crazy world of sports when kids are going everywhere and it's hard to have dinner together, and how did y'all do that? How are you doing that, and how did y'all do that?
We're not doing it well yet, so we got to figure that out. No, I feel like when we sit down at the beginning of every season, I feel like we look at the teams as a whole and say, okay, when does this team practice? When does that team practice? And because he does coach a couple of the teams, that is one thing about coaching. You can help make the schedules.
Yeah.
So that's been a huge blessing, because we'll say, well, so-and-so has practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so you got to do this Thursday too, so we can eat dinner all together Wednesday.
Yeah, she's done a good job. Like, we eat dinner every Thursday and Sunday as a family, and we usually get one more sometimes in there, But
see, we have one that's not playing anything right now, and one that's only playing
once
one.
he cranks up, it's going to be a whole different.
We're bracing for it. We're like, here it goes.
I confess, we ate out a lot.
We
How
eat
do you
Chick-fil-A
not, though?
4
I hate
times
to
a
say
week.
it.
I mean, we ate at Waffle House, and our tip is this, mellow mushroom pizza.
Well, we know.
ate
Brent's
so-
and mellow mushroom every
that's
day
right.
when I talk to
Why they
him.
don't
I'm
sponsor
looking for
this
them to
show,
be
I
a
don't know.
full
Yeah,
sponsor.
Come
Mention them
on.
a number of times.
That we ate
least
there.
in
In
Trey,
fact, my
maybe.
boys would sometimes eat there, and we join them. And it was just, we had that focus time, that talk time. We talked about the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
And
But see, I think that's so good too, though, because then that's one less thing on your plate. You're not stressed. Not that dinner is stressful every night, but that's one more thing to do at a time of the day when you're exhausted. So that leaves you to give them more of your energy.
and he always said he liked to go out to eat sometimes because
She
it
was
wasn't
engaged.
constant. You know how it is with
Yeah.
4 kids. It's
Oh, yeah.
okay. We ate. Now we got to clean up. Now we got to get to your homework. And and he said you would just relax and engage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd actually get frustrated if we went out to dinner and 30 minutes in, everybody's done, and okay, let's go. I'd be like, no, we came here. We're going to sit for a little bit. That's why we did it. And but those were good times.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
How about y'all?
The only time it was a struggle was on the Sunday morning element.
Oh, yeah.
When Brady was playing travel team, and I guess Daniel some too, but
Yeah, we had soccer and baseball at one point going
yeah,
on.
on Sundays. And so, all right, sometimes I would go. I would take the kids who weren't in an activity, or that was hard, giving up. And the message that it was sending our kids of athletics comes before church. And we were very involved in that church. It was very visible when we were not there as well.
It was a small church, yeah.
So fortunately that season did not last long. But I think the times where we've had to sacrifice like a couple days of our vacation because Brad and Brady have to leave early and that type of thing.
We've talked about that.
Yes, we have.
And me needing to honor the importance of certain things, but also trying to raise the whole family and the sacrifices that, the younger siblings at the time would have to make. And like this past spring break, little sister came with me. We watched some of Brady's baseball with his team, and she was able to bring a friend, which made it better. But then the other sister went elsewhere with a group of friends, and she was thrilled with that. But a lot of it is compromise. With 6 kids with such an age range, sometimes the dinner in shifts was kind of nice though. So if we couldn't eat around the table, but I could have some intentional time with individual kids. So that was not always a bad thing. And again, it's easier now because we're reflecting, we're not living it. So, but I really think it was the Sunday morning issue for that bit was the hardest part of it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, we at least need Sunday to be together, to worship together, to rest.
If we're in the losers bracket, that was where the debate came. If we're in the winners bracket, honey, we gotta go. No, but she was the voice of reason on those things. But That was hard. It was hard if you were in the losers bracket and you had at 8 a.m. on Sunday. Sometimes you get beat early enough to where you get back for church. That was the good news about getting beat early, But
one of our good friends showed up at church the other day in uniform. I was
Full
like,
uni.
that's awesome. But he lost, so they were like, we're going to church.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think we've done that.
I just think about that though too, because what's better, playing all day? Because we play softball starting at 7 a.m. and
But it's all day Saturday and you're done.
but we get home sometimes at like midnight, and then we all are like wet noodles on Sunday.
Yeah.
But you're done.
Yeah.
So I asked my dad that question. I played travel ball, and I said, did we not, because we went to church almost every Sunday, and he said, well, 25 years ago, we didn't start till 1:30 on Sundays. No one thought about starting
I know.
before 12 o'clock, and now
we need to
that's
swing that
changed.
pendulum back.
We do, and we talk about it all the time. What are you sending to your kids? What are you doing? But I understand there's also different circumstances, and sometimes it might be a bigger tournament or this or that, and those are decisions like anything you make as families.
It's hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how stepping back from all the details, sports has been a big part of all our families' lives. It's a big part of y'all's right now. From y'all's perspective, is that a good thing? And why?
Yes. Just learning how to be a part of something, be a part of a team, be a part of a community, to fight hard, to work hard. And again, I even had a conversation with 2 of our kids who are coming to your school recently about your student athletes. I mean, it goes together.
Yeah.
And learning to, with my son Jack, it's almost like if you can intertwine a physical activity with memorizing the states and capitals, he's got it, So I think that piece of it is very important, and I, as a parent, love the community myself. So, and it allows us to kind of, have a way into community and maybe some avenues that we wouldn't go into as well. So it's been great for outreach.
Yeah.
I absolutely, I'm grateful for the athletic programs that our kids have been part of and the arts programs. And, when like Daniel was like, I don't want to pursue this anymore. If a child is not wanting to do sports, my ask would be, well, what is going to replace that time? I would much rather have them on the ball field all day than gaming. So I think the discipline is there. It builds character. The winning, the losing, being part of a team, especially if you have good coaches feeding into those, your kids. So I absolutely, even if we had a child who didn't necessarily feel good at a particular sport, I think I'd still, let's try this or that, just so they could have that that purpose. I remember one time, I don't remember coaching maybe a basketball team, and there were a couple. I was like, "Are you cutting any?" He was like, "No, we're gonna." Even though, I've called these parents, even though their kid's not going to get a lot of play time. The parent said, it's worth it. My kid just wants to dress out and be with his friends. And that was enough for that kid. I have theater students the same way, that they'll even on their audition form, please just put me in the ensemble. I just want to be part of it. I can put them in a beautiful costume and teach them the songs, and they're part of that. And I think that's important. It's not all about the winning season or the winning show. It's about building that community and giving them something to look back on. Oh yeah, I used to play baseball or basketball, or I was in that show. It gives kids a purpose that they would not otherwise have. So.
Yeah, I love what you both have said. I love to, we talk about this a lot as a couple, is just the life lessons, the character building, but also things, you're almost practicing how to manage your emotions a little bit. We always talk about work ethic and we talk about attitude, and it's been interesting and fun to watch my little pre-tween with the attitude that she sometimes has at home will come out a little bit on the field sometimes or on a court sometimes. And we have those conversations of like you're learning now, if you act like this in 15 years to a boss, like you're fired. You're learning good things now when it doesn't really, there's not a lot of consequence. So for that, I also love sports. And I love the community aspect of it. And I do feel like the more our culture becomes centered around things like from, likes on Instagram and Snapchat and these things. And even if you are playing a solo sport like tennis or like sports does teach you, like it's not just about you, like you're looking at other people, you're looking at other, other things than just you. And sometimes that scares me where the culture is going, because I've listened to a lot of parents at, 10, 15 years ahead of us. And let's say they do have a child that wants to play a collegiate sport. I'm shocked at now the number of sports where you have to have your own profile in 9th grade or things. I'm like, what? That's a thing? Yeah. Like that's real life.
Yeah, they used to the scouts would just find you in any sport.
Right? Yeah, and now it's like, no, you got to market yourself. And so how do we raise children in that? I mean, let's say they're even, whether they're subpar athletes or great athletes, but where they're not always pointing inward, like where you're investing in other people too, and you're looking outward.